This week we are reviewing Toy Story 5. 30 years later, Pixar is still pulling the string on Toy Story. So the question is, does the sequel have a friend in me or us? Or is it time to put these toys back on the shelf? Let's find out. Hello everybody and welcome to Middle Age Geeks. I'm one of your hosts Daz and that is Phil, and this week we are reviewing Toy Story 5. Released more than 30 years ago after Pixar changed animation forever with the first one, Toy Story 5 brings back Woody, Buzz and Jessie and the gang for another adventure in a world increasingly dominated by technology and screen time. And the film is co-written and directed by Andrew Stanton, who is one of Pixar's most influential creative voices, making his first direct contribution to Toy Story franchise as director. I think he wrote the last one, and he's writing this alongside McKenna Harris. The returning cast includes Tom Hanks as Woody, Tim Allen as Buzz Lightyear, and Joan Cusack as Jessie, with new additions including Greta Lee as the AI-powered tablet, Lilypad and Conan O'Brien as Smarty Pants, an outdated toilet training toy who ends up stealing many of the movie's best laughs. So yeah, with movies like this, after the emotional conclusion, I guess, to Toy Story 3 and 4, the question is always facing this franchise going forward is there a need for it? Have they got the writing to make it make sense? But when the previous one makes $1 billion, what can you do? Toy Story 5 shifts the spotlight away from Woody and places Jessie firmly in the lead role as the new leader of Bonnie's Toys. And when Bonnie becomes obsessed with a new tablet called Lilypad, the toys fear that children everywhere are abandoning, traditional play and all that kind of stuff. And as Bonnie drifts further into the digital world, Jessie embarks on an adventure to prove that toys still matter. That's a brief synopsis of what's going on. So what were your thoughts then coming out of this one? Be interesting to hear.
I'm the same. I'll be interested to hear yours as well as a parent, because I think that going through this, when getting announced, I was like, do we need another movie? But I was very interested to see what it was like. Was it going to be regressive or would it be relatable? So would it be preaching to people about their screen time and their kids and their use of tech and or are they making something that's far more relatable? Because as they say in it, tech is everywhere. Tech is for everything. As the line that they say in the movie. So to kind of make that balance, I was wondering how they do it. Are you going to try and say, no, stop moving away from toys? You need to, screen stuff is bad, or, how would they tackle it without preaching down to parents? And I think I was delighted that I feel that they, walked the line, threaded that needle really, really well for the most part. Now, again, I'm only coming at it from someone who doesn't have kids, so I don't know if other people have felt a different way. You can let us know in the comments. But I thought they handled that part really well. I thought that having Jessie be the main kind of character as well was a risk. Everybody's so in love with Woody and Buzz, not that they didn't play a part, but having her be kind of having the main center stage, as you say, I thought that was great. I thought she was brilliant. You can tell that Joan Cusack is getting a little bit older, when you can kind of tell it in the voice. Sometimes, but for the most part, I thought she was great. And as you mentioned, Conan O'Brien as Smarty Pants, I absolutely loved that character and his interplay between the other two devices as well. I absolutely loved that. I thought he was fantastic. It was just a really good time. Again, as I said, I wasn't really in the need for another one of these movies. But I enjoyed it. Yeah, I enjoyed it. And I say hats off to them of how they tackled that particular topic, because I do think it could be a hot button. But people don't want to feel that they're being judged because they allow to have their kids, sit in front of a screen and interact, and the dangers of online and all that kind of stuff. But I don't think that they did that. I think they kind of showed that there's a place for both.
Absolutely, absolutely. Because well, I really enjoyed this. Really enjoyed it. Yeah, it ticks all the boxes. The animation is excellent. The voice is excellent. It's paced very well. It's really funny. And it's always that case. It's like, what are they going to do? Are they running out of road? Because when a movie makes that much money, you have to make another one. And with Toy Story 4, that was a really prevalent kind of thought going into that, where you're just going, they're just making so much money, so they made that one. And Toy Story 1, 2, and 3, if it's left alone, and it's one of the best trilogies ever made. It's astonishing. So when the fourth one was good, that was pleasing, and then you're kind of worried again with this one. And I'm delighted that that Jessie took center stage. For me, there was a little part when she's out and there's no toys around. She's kind of lost in a barn or on a farm somewhere. There was a bit of a lull. I'm like, oh, okay, like this is I was missing, Buzz and Woody and the gang for about 5-10 minutes. But then it just takes off, and she's fantastic. But it's the whole tech thing I thought was it was great, because I saw it with my daughter, who's 6, and she picked up on some of the themes. There were a few moments where she's like, what's happening here? Which always happens with these kind of movies. But there was one point when, like, one of the kids was crying, and she was like, I know it's, happening there. That's because she wants this because the kids have it, and she wants to play with her toys, but she has to pretend that she's not. And I was like, oh, fucking hell, you're getting that. That's brilliant. And as a parent, that stuff hits home incredibly, because, and it's the fact that they kind of portray the kind of online bullying pretty well. They don't go too deep into it, but it's just like, technology is not all bad. It's not all bad. And there's, Lilypad is just not a villain for the whole thing, but there is an aspect of it, technology in the wrong hands, or the misuse of it, or too much use of it. It's the negative implications of that are conveyed very well.
It did make me realize that there's no way I could be a parent, because when she's getting bullied, my first reaction is, I'm going to fucking punch those kids in the face, which I probably shouldn't do. You should probably maybe go speak to the parents first. Now, straight away, I was like, who has upset this adorable little child? I'm going to punch them in the fucking face. But I agree with you on that point, guys. That's a good one about Lilypad not being the villain. I mean, it misunderstood and all the rest of it. But like, when you think of Sid in the first one, or even Lotso the bear, like they've had a kind of villain that they're fighting against, where she's not really a villain. You're fighting against tech, I suppose, in general, or trying to strike. The fight is, the struggle is trying to find the balance. And I think that's and again, that's another risk in itself, not having the big bad guy to direct your ire towards. Again, I think it's made it much more of a, I suppose, a complex plot than we might have seen in the past. But no, I mean, like, there are, I guess, some issues, like when they're kind of running that kind of tightrope of technology. Like, it really is, it's quite striking when, and being a parent, you do see it, where somebody is looking at a screen, and there's all this thing about when a kid has something in their hands, and you're trying to take it away from them. Where if you're watching a TV on a wall or mounted or something, it's not in their hands. You're not taking it away. And those couple of shots where she's just like a drone looking at the pad and just like absorbed in it. As a parent, that hits home, because you can, like, we're pretty good with screen time, but you can see moments where you're just going, Jesus Christ. Especially when adults can't crack the code of putting your fucking phone down. What are you expecting kind of kids to do? But, like, I guess the technology theme in that regard never quite evolves. Like, the core premise is has enormous potential, but, like, I don't know how much you're trying to ask from a kind of kids movie and Toy Story movie, but it is kind of this imagination versus technology, and traditional play versus digital environments. But I guess the movie doesn't really explore those themes any deeper. It's more kind of simplistic, and it's kind of like shaking a fist at modern kids and their screens and all that. And toys are good, or tablets are bad, which, to a point, I mean, I would agree with, but I was happy with the way the movie kind of went down that route with Lilypad and not being a complete big bad, because that would have been too much of a black and white kind of stuff. It came back into the kind of grey area, and it's more about kids. I think some kids are dickheads. Like, I think I saw someone say that Lilypad, like, she's not the villain. She's an option. It's something to be tied in, because what Bonnie wants from Lilypad is connection. You know what I mean? Other people have it, so she wants, but also it's about connection. That was the main thing she added to her friends, and that was the most exciting thing of it. And it's being connected and keeping up with them, because that's what it is. She doesn't have any proper friends, this poor little kid, and so it's, as they say, that she plays a bit differently than others, and I like that they kind of just, again, didn't make her a monster, but I like I think the message that kind of came across, especially with, I know we'll get onto the animation shortly, but the stuff with Buzz and Woody and those kind of toys and Jessie as well, is that the kid has to make up everything themselves. The whole story, everything they want for them has to come from your imagination. Whereas tech, and whether it's this or whether it's us playing video games, it's all there for the story is given to you, and then you make your way through it, and it gets revealed to you as you go along. Whereas, playing as she does in this is different. You can make different characters get married. You can have people going off to the fucking moon. You can do whatever the hell you want, and that's the whole imagination. I think it's getting, as I said, the balance of those two things, because tech is just can be fantastic for people keeping people together and connected, and not just kids, adults as well. So I really like that part of it.
Yeah. But let's get into the animation then, because like you were saying, I loved the way they deal with the imagination animation when it kind of goes to kind of sketches and stuff.
That was the absolute winner for me.
That was like astonishing. It was just gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous. But I mean, there's such a high bar with these movies, with Pixar in general, but like Toy Story, like even you go back 30 years, I mean, it's obviously it's aged quite considerably like Toy Story, but it still looks fucking great. Like, but the animation in this is phenomenal. The way it just like when it starts with all the buses in a container washed up, and you're just like, Jesus Christ. And I love the way there's that kind of aspect of the story is kind of, it's like a parallel narrative going alongside it. But but animation wise, it's not a shocker to be coming out of this and going, this was absolutely gorgeous to watch. And so many moments during the movie where you're just going, this is just fucking great. You're just big smile on your face. This is wonderful. Absolutely wonderful. So were you a fan of the animation? Did you hate it?
I did. No, I love that kind of shift, because I think that obviously these movies are a treat for the eyes. We've, the kind of the hyper realism has come up from the, as you said, 30 years. It's just, you're looking at, you can see in the background that the little particles of dust coming up off the floorboards and everything. Like, it's just so, they put so much detail into it. I think it was in Encanto. I'm not sure which one it was, but you could see like this, singular hairs going down and people's reflections in their eyes of stuff like that. Like, it was just, that you just really see how much effort they put into this. And that's why when they shift kind of from that hyper realistic texture into this just wild, vibrant, kind of heightened, mental, like comic book fucking reality, I absolutely loved that. And I look, it's just so chaotic and liberating. And that happens, in between regular normal sequences. They just break into these times of play and imagination. And like, we've seen play throughout these, the four previous movies. But of course, it was just him, Andy or Bonnie narrating what was going on. Whereas for this, we're actually getting to experience this, seeing it in a whole different visual style. And I guess it's to really just show the difference between what a child's imagination is like and what it is on the screen on this game in front of them. But I thought that was just, it was absolutely gorgeous. I was like grinning ear to ear during those scenes. Loved it.
Yeah. I guess one of the aspects that, it's not so much an elephant in the room, but Woody has to return, where his story is kind of over after the fourth movie. He kind of goes off, and he's going to come back, and he kind of has nothing left to do. So that kind of pivot and turning onto like the screenwriting aspect of it, that I think that's the biggest issue of the franchise kind of moving forward. Anyway, is how do they work with Woody? Because obviously his story has ended, and Pixar kind of has to find reasons to bring him back. And you can take him out of this movie and nothing changes, whatever. But it's good to see that like he comes back, and himself and Buzz have a couple of like argy-bargy kind of moments, and it's just fucking wonderful to see. But like just writing wise, I think it's kind of a masterstroke. Just kind of going with Jessie. I think there's aspects of the relationship between her and Buzz, which I think is kind of a little bit forced in. There's not enough screen time given to that. But I was just delighted that Jessie took center stage. And again, it's you're kind of looking at the movie and it's going to make a shit ton of money again. So, I mean, the directors already said the kind of 6 and 7 are depending on how this movie goes, when they say that, like, depending on the box office, if it makes money, the 6 and 7 are coming. It's more of a test as it goes on. Are they going to run out of road? Like, at some point, like the fact that they've pivoted into tech now is fucking, it's brilliant. But, where do you go from here? You know what I mean? Like, how do you see kind of the future of the franchise after this one?
I think that you make a good point, but I just think Disney and Pixar are just going to follow the money, and this will make an absolute bomb. I mean, this is the lowest rating of the 5 movies, right? Say on Rotten Tomatoes, but that's not, but it's got 94%. You know what I mean? So it's still massive. It's going to be massively successful. So I still think that they'll make another one, and I would be happy to watch one where they have Jessie Moore as the main star. I thought she was great. I loved when we hear more about her original owner, is it Emily? And that story of what happened between her and Emily as that goes on, like that.
It's really touching.
Yeah, like it really, really is. Yeah. And that was a very touching moment as we kind of complete that story, to learn what happened, with Emily and she, as she moved on. Like, but a lot of that stuff with her is really, really touching. And I'd happily watch another movie of it. It's just, I don't know. I think maybe could you have just, like you said, ended after the third movie and just call that the Toy Story trilogy, and then just have this other stuff without Buzz and thing and everything involved. But I don't know, because if they do make another one, they're going to have some reason to have Woody come back into it.
You can't really do it without them.
Yeah, that's the thing. But I to be honest, like as I really, really enjoyed this, but I don't know. I would worry that fatigue would follow quite quickly as this kind of goes on. Like, if is it a case that if they start making they keep doing so well, they just keep making them, that eventually you're just going to stop caring about these beloved characters because it's not as fun as it was,
Yeah, and that's, like, you can see some people online reviewing this as there's two different kind of aspects to it, where people are reviewing it as a Toy Story movie in the franchise, where it's not as good as the first trilogy. I put it on par with 4. It's probably more enjoyable than 4. And other people just, like, if you review it on its own as a standalone movie, it's an incredible amount of fun. But yeah, if you review it as a Toy Story movie, it's not the strongest. And is there a decline in that aspect? Who knows? But do you want to give it a star rating then?
Yeah, I'm happy to put a rating of 4 on it, because I just thought it was very, very, very enjoyable. Like, I think I would be in agreement with you. I think it's either on par or above 4, and I enjoyed 4. I just think that the animation, the change animation for the dream sequences blew me away. I love the introduction of some of the new characters were great. They didn't feel super forced. Like the devices, but the camera and the phone, or what's called children's camera and children's phone. I thought they were great when they're working with what's his face? What's his face? Colin O'Brien's character again?
Oh, Smarty Pants.
Smarty Pants, yeah.
It's fucking brilliant.
Yeah, some of the scenes with him as well. Like, I mean, okay, granted, they're fucking pee and poop jokes, but they're fucking funny. Like, it's good fun. Yeah, like I think 4 is a fair score. I'd definitely watch it again if it was on, for sure. And we can only judge the movie that's in front of us. And for me, this was beautiful graphics, acted well. It was a lot of fun. So yeah, I'm gone with 4.
Yeah, I would 4 as well. Yeah, it proves that the Pixar can still make an entertaining movie, and they still have things to say in this franchise. The whole tech thing was tackled very well, and it resonated, especially with me as a parent. Like, there was really moments that were kind of like really got to you emotionally, from the point of kids being hooked on the on the technology, and also some of the online bullying kind of stuff as well. It was just hits home, and it was a very enjoyable watch. And the fact that my 6-year-old enjoyed it and got something from it as well is really good, because now I'm telling her, you're not having a fucking iPad until you're fucking 16. Remember Toy Story?
Maybe get her a pig. You could maybe get her a pig.
yeah. Get her a fucking Buzz Lightyear, one of the new ones with Wi-Fi in it. Okay, yeah, so 4 stars from us. Check it out in cinemas. It's really, really good fun, and there's still life in the old dog yet. So check it out. So yeah, that is an end to this week's episode. Thanks as always for liking, subscribing, sharing, and comment about the movie. If you've seen it, do you like it? Are you a fan? And yeah, next week we will be tuning in with Supergirl, which is very exciting indeed. So
Yeah.
we will catch you for that one. All right, have a good one. Take it easy.